Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Tundra TRD Pro to the Chevy Silverado ZR2 to see whose top dog off-road truck is best. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Nate Wade Subaru for giving me some time with the Tundra, and then to the Jerry Seiner Chevy for giving me some time with the Silverado. Link to both their websites in the description down below. Link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the Chevy is a 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 14 around town and then 17 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering the Tundra is a twin-turbo 3.4 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed. It's also paired to a hybrid. It puts out 437 horsepower and then 583 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy with this is going to be higher teens. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the ZR2, this looks really cool, especially with this color. Basically, the whole front end's blacked out. So you've got the blacked out piece on the hood as well. And then you've got this more aggressive approach angle, and you got little bumper cutouts that also help out with approach. But this truck is supposed to be, you know, kind of like larger than life when it comes to the front end appearance. Same thing with the Tundra. I mean, look at how big the grille is. You also have that light bar there below the Toyota logo. A bunch of marker lights with this as well, because it's actually wide enough to need marker lights, which, funny enough, when you look at them next to each other, the ZR2 almost looks wider, but it's not wide enough to need marker lights. The Tundra is, in fact, the one that's wider, which, weird, right? Anywho, when it comes to tire and wheel setup, they both have 18-inch wheels, which is nice. The Tundra has smaller tires. These are 32s in terms of their sizing, whereas the ZR2 has 33s when it comes to sizing. They both have independent front suspension, another big thing. You can see the fender flares here on the ZR2 versus the Tundra with the camo print. See TRD Pro there, and then ZR2 here with the Silverado. They both have darker mirror caps, which is cool. No side steps with the Tundra, but we do have side steps here with the Silverado. And then you can see with the fender flares and everything here in the back. Now the Silverado has leaf springs in the rear and then multi-matic shocks, whereas the Tundra has coil suspension and Fox shocks. Here's your side profile with the Tundra, and then here's your side-ish profile with the ZR2. You can see it sits a little bit higher. Now it comes to the bed of the Tundra. You can see it's all protected from the factory, so you don't have to worry about scratching paint or anything like that. You've got lights here, cargo tie-down points. We've got an outlet as well. And the 25 Tundra Pluses will have power lift with the tailgate, which is pretty cool feature. But you can also just lift it up yourself if you want. Anyways, with the Silverado, you can see you've got protection here on the tailgate. Lights here, tie-down points, and then you got an outlet down below as well. Same thing, you can get a power tailgate. This one actually doesn't have it, funny enough. But that is an option. You see Chevrolet stamp there in the back. You got bumper steps there. And you can see the height here compared. The Tundra definitely sits, I mean, look how much lower the Tundra sits. It's quite interesting, but I think both of them overall look pretty good. Then it comes to the interior of the Tundra. You've got lots of red stitching throughout, and then that theme of the camo print continues with the red. You lose under-seat storage because of the hybrid system, so you basically have the top of the seat to use as storage, and then down below. And then here's some cup holders. You can see the little charging ports. When it comes to spacing in here, the Tundra is definitely tighter compared to the Silverado with height and with width. And you really see that when you look at it back to back. You can see the legroom there. And the Silverado is just bigger. And then same thing with the headroom. It's just a little bit bigger. Anyways, the seats in the Silverado got that gray trim with like the neon green stitching. And that is also on the door panel as well. So quite a bit brighter. And then you get normal under-seat storage as well. I mean, I can lift this up so you guys can see. For example, heated seats, cup holders, vents, all of that stuff, which is nice. And so you go. Now take a look at the front of the Tundra again. You've got all the soft touch trim here, all over window controls and everything. The mirrors power fold in. This has memory seats. It's got blind spot monitoring, so lots of features there. Payload is 1345. TRD Pro there. Really nice front seat. I will say these seats are more comfortable than the Silverado seats. Power adjustments. And then you've got the control turn on the light bar and everything. Popping in to that. Close this. Start her up. Got to really push that button in. Tundra. But yeah, full digital gauge cluster, which looks pretty cool. And then you got this nice marker there at the top of the steering wheel in red, and generally nice looking steering wheel design, especially with the TRD there at the bottom. You got stuff like adaptive cruise control too. The coolest thing with the Toyotas is the 360, especially for off-road use, like really good resolution. You can see all around the truck, it's great. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, quick response time, as you can see, so that's great. We've got dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats as well. And then a bunch of shortcut buttons here. Big thing, we do have a rear locking differential with this. And then you also have the little shortcut for the camera system. And then shifter here for the 10-speed. Got a bunch of storage there with the little phone charging pad. Some cup holders. And then we've got our drive mode select here. Well, kind of. So street drive modes. You also have your tow haul mode, multi-terrain select, and then you've got crawl control and everything. So this has all Toyota's off-road tech. 2-speed transfer case. And then got this whole center console thing. The Toyota is kind of plasticky. That is something to note. Got cool Toyota logo there. Camera rear view mirror, and then this does have the whole window go down in the back, which is another cool feature. And then we've got a big panoramic sunroof. Now this of course leads us up front with the Silverado. Again, really nice trim here. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. You can see all of the window controls and everything. Again, you got memory seats and all of that, and then cool neon trim. Payload, $13.98, so a little bit more. And then here's the front seat. Perforated all down the center portion. All of our adjustments on the side. And then you got stuff like your heads-up display controlled. Notice this actually has four-wheel drive auto. The Tundra does not, so that's a big downside for the Tundra. But getting in's easy with the side step. This is higher up off the ground than the Tundra. Start her up. Just like the Tundra, full digital gauge cluster. So you got that. Steering wheel's not nearly as cool looking. I will say that. I think that Chevy needs to do a little bit of work to make this feel just, I don't know, more special. But what is definitely special is the 360 camera system. Really good resolution. You can see out of all the different angles with the truck, which is great. Quick response time with the whole system, so I think that's nice. Anyways, this has front and rear locking diff setup. So the Tundra only has a rear. That's a big plus with the ZR2 having the front as well. Still have dual zone climate, heated ventilated seats, trailer brake controls, all the normal truck stuff. And this is a little bit more open in terms of the spacing compared to the Tundra. And then you got nice trim in the glove box, nothing fancy with like the logo. Anyways, still have a camera rear view mirror. Actually, still have a power sliding rear window, just part of the window, not the whole window. And then just a smaller sunroof, so I guess things are smaller on the ZR2. Now when it comes to pricing, that's going to be mid-70s for the MSRP, again, depending on how you option it out exactly. And then that is higher 70s for the MSRP. So the ZR2 is a little bit more expensive, but let's sum things up. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Visibility for the hood, both the mirrors. There's the rear. Also, heads-up display is pretty cool. Let us set off in this V8 ZR2. Now, I'm not sure how my schedule is going to work out this week, but I do plan on reviewing the Bison version this week. That one's a 6.2 Bison that they have. That's a 25, so stay tuned for that. But the ZR2 is the most comfortable seats for a Chevy. Try to say that. Chevy seats. Say that 10 times in a row and you might have ended up accidentally swearing a little bit. But yeah, no, they're really good. They're really good seats. Man, the turning radius on this ain't bad. It ain't bad at all, actually. Let's actually see what the camera view looks like here. Look at this. Ah! Not that camera view. That's not helpful at all. So you can see it's a tight space, but look at this. We got the Colorado on the one side and we got the curb on the other side. It fits just barely, but it does in fact fit. It's a tight fit, but yeah, this isn't too bad for a full-size pickup truck when it comes to the handling. So other than that, the sound is great. Gotta love the 6.2 V8 with an exhaust. Listen to this. It's like a muscle car. I like it. I like it. Quite a bit. So other than that, it's smooth with the suspension. The Multimatic shocks do a pretty good job with the dampening. Cabin installation is also pretty good too. Man, the camera still hasn't gone off. Interesting. So you can go to pretty quick speed and still have the camera work, which is nice if you ask me. Other than that, yeah, the torque right off the bat is actually pretty darn strong. Oh yeah, this engine's great. It's got that nice linear. This truck's going on my lane. Oh, it's because of the median. Yeah, it's got that nice linear V8 power band. Just kind of slip through over here. Yeah, V8 power. It's great. I really like how it drives. So the ZR2, it drives like a Silverado Plus. And when I say that, I do want to get a comparison with this against a Raptor, since the pricing's not too different. Because the Raptor, you can get a Raptor for like 80 grand, and this is almost 80 grand. So I'll get a comparison going. But yeah, this drives more similar to a regular Silverado than different. Whereas like you can do a Raptor and you compare it to a regular F-150 and it feels like a completely different truck. The Raptor suspension, the wide body and everything really does change the driving dynamics. This is less so. And it's standard body, so you don't have to deal with the width problem that the Raptor has to deal with in terms of maneuvering through tight spaces and everything. But overall, I like how this performs. And the camera, I'm gonna turn that off. Some of you guys might get sick from that, sorry. I just think it drives well. It's a nice truck, and you get you know, better dampening that you get from an off-road package. You get the cool off-road looks, but you don't really have to concede all that much with this truck. It's not like it's again, you don't have to deal with some of the Raptor stuff, which the Raptor's cool, but you know, try parking that in the parking garage and it's not necessarily the most exciting thing on the planet. So let me know what you guys think about the Silverado ZR2, especially the 6.2 V8. I'm always team diesel, but I do see a benefit with the 6.2 V8 with the power and the sound that this has. So let me know your thoughts. Okay, Tundra compared to the ZR2. Let us see who is the winner. Well, I'll say right off the bat, this is lower to the ground. Definitely lower to the ground. Feel that right off the bat as soon as you get in it. I think the turning radius might be a little bit worse. Let's do the same thing with the camera here. Ah, yeah, no, maybe. Oh yeah. It's not, no, I mean, it's pretty similar actually. It's pretty similar. I thought it was, it felt like not as tight, but actually doing the turn, it was pretty similar. So both are equal on that front. When it comes to acceleration, this definitely has a big punch at the beginning because of the hybrid component, but something to note, because it is turbocharged, it doesn't have the same clicky response you get from a naturally aspirated engine, especially a naturally aspirated V8. And let's hope this light, no! See, let's hope this light holds so that I can get the turn, but it's okay. You guys can see the brakes work just fine. Sorry, I gotta make sure all my stuff's here before I go back to the next dealership. So other than that, this interior is nice. It's kind of like more wiggly than the Chevy interior, a little bit more plasticky. That's kind of the thing about these modern Toyotas, is they're a little bit more plasticky with their interiors, especially compared to just the previous gen versions. You know, you get into a previous gen Tundra or Tacoma, the Foreigners haven't come out, but same thing with those. Everything's just less plasticky than the new stuff, so I'm not sure why Toyotas, well, it probably comes down to cost, right? But that is something to note. But overall, I mean, at least the major touch points like the steering wheel, I mean, it feels premium. And it looks cool with the little red marker there as well. And so, summing things up in comparison, I would say that the Tundra drives a little bit more car-like. The Chevy drives a little bit more truck-like. They both have nice suspension. They both have great dampening. The Tundra's a little bit smooth. And I think a big part of that is because it's just lower to the ground, right? The Silverado's kind of more tip-toppy, right? It's a little bit more heavy. I don't think it's actually that much heavier in terms of the curb weight, but more weight up high, right? Because of the higher suspension that has. So it does change things. It definitely changes things. So let me know which one you would go for, whether it be the Tundra or the ZR2. I think they're just different weapons. What I will say though that Toyota needs to do in this segment is they need to add four-wheel drive auto. I think that four-wheel drive auto, and then maybe just a bit more clearance on a TRD Pro, right? I can forgive them for not having a ton of clearance on like a Tundra SR5, but this is supposed to be an off-road package, and the front end is just not all that great for clearances. So anyways, that's all. Let me know your thoughts on the Tundra TRD Pro versus ZR2 comparison and which one you'd go for.